Hey guys, welcome back to the Girlfriends and Goals podcast. My name is Samaria and I'm joined by my best friend and co-host.
Miosha.
And today we're reviewing Love is Blind, the wedding episode, episode 12. So meet
hmm
us in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts are about this this episode. I feel like I know what's going to be a popular trend in the comments, but
Say it. Go ahead and say it.
the the way Edmund responded when Calabria didn't say anything. That was hilarious. But make sure that you like this video,
Yeah.
subscribe to our channel if you haven't subscribed.
Oh,
Wait.
we hit 8K.
We hit 8K, so we just
Thank
want to say
y'all.
thank you so much for subscribing and getting us to 8K and onward and upward from here.
hmm
So, all
Yep.
right, let's go ahead and jump in. Do we want to talk about the bachelorette party?
Let's see. Do I have any highlights? So I think I have two things from the Bachelorette.
Same.
Megan's friend calls out that she thinks that she may be falling for Luca, and it's maybe complicating her feelings. And I think we could all agree with there's some type of connection that she has with this little boy and his
Mm-hmm.
situation. And it's like, okay, yeah, but you're signing up for an entire marriage
Yeah.
with Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that, and I'm glad that she acknowledged that his being in her life is clouding her decision making because I think we could all
Yeah.
see it. But I also appreciated her friends for saying all of us are questioning, like, how your lifestyle is going to change and if this is the lifestyle that you want for yourself. I think she has some solid friends because they were calling
hmm
out the things that I would expect a friend group to call out. I wouldn't expect a friend group to be like, okay, well, if you want to do it, then we're just gonna go for
hmm
it without cautioning her a little bit. So I appreciated her friend group. I appreciated the balance that they brought because one person was saying, "Okay, are you too in love with the little boy, and that's why you're making this decision? Because that's my biggest fear for you." And the other person is like, "Yeah, but I'm also thinking, what if this
hmm
all works out?" And so I appreciated the balance that her friend
hmm
presented.
And her friends know her probably just as much as her family. And so the fact that they're able to call out something that we've been talking about all season and they know her personally, I
Right.
think says a lot. So,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, the other thing, let's pivot really quick to Allie and her friends.
Girl. I also appreciate it though for different reasons.
Okay.
Okay. So they know her and I think they
hmm
know what her expectations are financially. And so
Okay.
I although Anton does well for himself and I don't know that I would be nitpicky about this, they know their friend
hmm
and they know what it is that she requires, so they brought it up. Then I also appreciated them saying, "But listen, we're two divorced women, so take what we say with a grain of salt." I'm like, you better know yourself and know your audience. So yeah, I
And
enjoyed them.
it strikes me as a conversation that they've probably already had offline with her, given how much they were laughing about it. I didn't appreciate maybe the tone and the laughter with it when the
About his
friends were like,
finances.
oh,
Yeah.
well, maybe he does have these traditional values, but it'll be on a budget.
And when Allie tried to defend him, which I appreciated her defending him throughout the episode, right? But when she tried to defend him and goes, "Well, he makes really good money." Well, he makes good money, not really good. Oh, like, was that necessary?
Even how the friend is like, sure, like, girl, be for real.
Like, at this point, I figured that there would be a no somewhere in the future just because I cannot imagine allowing you or any of my friends to talk bad. I don't even let my friends talk bad about each other. So I could not imagine saying yes after you allowed your friends to talk about him in that way.
And even I don't know. I mean, they can feel how they feel about the lifestyle that they expect. Nothing against that, but I think also being on international television. I don't
Yeah.
know. I would expect even if you had those thoughts,
Hmm.
girl, you would kiki with me off to the side, maybe, and that's a strong maybe. But
That one
on
was more than
international television, I
yeah.
knew from that point she's not marrying this man.
Yeah. And
Because
I will
the
say,
friends didn't have a respectable enough tone
yeah, yeah.
towards the conversation for me to take that she would say yes to him.
Yeah, to be fair, I do think one friend was the one going harder, and then the other friend
Mhm.
at the end cleaned it up a little bit. Like I could
Or
tell from
try
her,
to.
yeah, her tone was a little different. So I don't want to throw her in with the other women, but it was a fun scene to watch, despite what I disagreed with and what I enjoyed, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Bachelor party.
The only thing I have on this is Anton
Oh
because
yeah.
there was nothing that he said that made me think, yeah, you should say yes at the altar. Because
Hmm.
he said, I mean, like, is she high maintenance? Yeah. Is she the best with money? No. Does she cook and clean? No. But there
No.
are things that I value more. Tell me what you value more than those things that we know you value a lot because you brought
Her
them up.
looks. Her looks.
But to value looks more than function is wild to me.
Oh, I agree. I
Okay.
agree. And I think I think a lot of other things, but if that's what's valuable to him, I think one thing's for sure is I feel confident with walking away that what we saw is probably how he is. Even I
Yeah.
don't want to jump too far to the end, but I think he was being honest in that moment.
Hmm.
Like, this is what I value. It's her looks, not all
But
the
he
things.
didn't say what it was that he valued. So if I were his friend, I would have been like, you just listed things that I know are high on your list. Like you don't necessarily want somebody who's high maintenance. You want somebody who's good with money. Honestly, for me, somebody who's not good with money, I don't care how good you look. I don't care how good you cook. I don't care how good you clean. If you don't value money the same way I value money, deuces. But yeah,
And it almost doesn't matter how much money you have. You could have a lot of it, but if
if
you're
you're not
terrible with
managing
it,
that part.
so I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah. Okay. We didn't see Edmund at the bachelor party,
we
which
did, but
did
he
we?
didn't have any highlights. I saw him there.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, he was there. Because I remember thinking, are they going to do the Western theme that he didn't want to
That's what
do?
I was wondering because I'm like,
Mm.
nothing about it gave Western to me, but they
Mhm.
also quickly showed the bachelorette and bachelor party. Like it wasn't drawn out like usually. Like you see their friends coming in. It wasn't all of that.
Because it was just a bunch of them getting together to talk about things that we already know. We just saw more of
Mhm.
their friends. I do wish we could go back to legit bachelor and bachelorette parties in this. I don't know. You remember when I think it was it Jimmy season where they it was a season where they went to like a basketball stadium and it was a
Mm,
whole thing. I don't know. Give them something fun to do. I don't
yeah.
know. Like we don't want to see them just stand around and talk again.
That's what we've seen at all the Pod Squad meetups, everything.
It's nothing else.
And
Nothing.
also, can I just say it because I saw that Casey is going to be at the reunion. We don't need her there. Like they need us behind the scenes.
I think some people, once they realize they are somewhat the villain, they're just going to lean all the way into it.
Mm.
That's what I think with her. I think she's probably enjoying the attention. Like, oh, I didn't find my person. I didn't really get a come up from this, so I might as well milk this 15 minutes of fame.
Mm. Okay.
So,
All right. So then we'll go to Allie and Anton on their wedding day.
so at this point, I think I always said he would probably say yes, and
Hmm.
she would be a no. And I think you were the same.
Probably. I don't remember.
She was like, I filtered out my brain, all this stuff. Okay. And so Allie says, she's happy to be there. She's excited.
She
He
loves.
says his biggest fear is her saying no.
Hmm.
And I was thinking, we saw a few different conversations or the beginnings of conversations of things that could be issues for them, but we never saw any type of resolve or what came of these conversations around the partying, the
Yeah.
drinking, even the lifestyle. And so I was thinking maybe they had a conversation behind the scenes at this point. I'd hope
Hmm.
because if he's going to be a yes, I don't know. These conversations would have had to have come to a head.
I feel like they just swept it under the rug and managed very well so that they could get to
Mm,
the end. But I thought it was interesting that she was saying, "Oh yeah, his best friend's fiance texted her and was like, it's a beautiful day, but just trust your gut and make the decision that
mhm,
works for you." And then her friends asked the same question I would have asked, like, "Oh, is that the same one who
mhm.
said the stuff?" But she said, "Well, that one was just a girlfriend. And she's only been a girlfriend for 3 months." And so I'm like, okay, does that she said, I don't know how much credit we could give her, or how much value we could put to what she said. But in my opinion, that would be who I would listen to because she may not be here for a long time, but she's here for a good time, and she was still spilling the tea.
As well as you could just have a conversation with him directly
Mhm.
about what was said.
Maybe they did, and we
And
just
that's where
didn't.
I was like, I would have to assume that they did.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay. So it was interesting how the mom switched up to me. So in private, of course, she was like, I don't like that he drinks alcohol. In our
mhm.
family, we don't drink alcohol. And Allie tried to defend him again. And she was like, well,
Uh,
mom, I drink alcohol. Like, so
wh- which is true,
yeah.
but part of me also feels as though clearly Allie's been talking to her mom about the drinking
Yeah.
issue. And so I was thinking because she's as close with her family as she is, once again, I was not foreseeing her saying yes to him. Even though she drinks and I think she said
Well,
what she had to say right then and there.
right. I think she was maintaining her, like trying to maintain her image.
Right. But yeah, the mom and the comments on that day, I'm like, oh yeah, she's not going to marry him.
So that's why it was funny when his mom came to meet them, and her mom goes, "Oh yeah, your son is so nice. We really like him. We like him a lot." I said, "Girl, fake,
The mom is giving it away.
fake."
So fake. So fake. And you see how emotional his mom is versus
Yeah,
her mom. She just gave the sense of like, okay, let's get this done.
yeah.
Also, let's talk about this sister that showed up.
Myra,
Yeah, so the
Allison, you're gonna
first
hear
two
my
sisters
mind.
come in and, they hug and, they're all emotional. And then she walks up and is like, I don't support this, but
So
I'm
true.
here.
She said, "Whatever happens out there, I don't support this."
Girl, you could have stayed home. Once again, she's not going to say yes to this
Yeah,
man at the altar.
yeah. So the writing was on the wall. He said in his little moment before they went down the
Mhm.
aisle, we have the same goals and outlook on the future, which to me is questionable. And then, oh no, these were the vows. And then she said, falling in love with you was so easy. You've embraced every part of me. And I think we know what we need to know to make this decision.
Yeah, when she said, I think we know what we need to know to make this decision, I'm like, okay, y'all must have had a conversation about these other things that we just did not see. But
Even
clearly
if
they
they didn't
didn't.
have the conversation, it's okay for her to decide that what she sees isn't what she wants.
Oh,
And
yeah, but to
him too. I
commute,
think he should have also said no. Like she's clearly
yeah.
not.
Yeah, but I think the difference is she brought up these things as potential issues,
Mhm.
but then I was never really sure how much she ever communicated to him how big of an issue these things were. Does that make sense? Like
It
I could say to you, "Hey, I haven't been feeling the best about you in the way you've been interacting with me about X." But if I'm like nonchalant about it or it's not a big deal, you may not take it as a huge deal. But if I'm like, "No, this could be a deal breaker in our friendship." You'd be like, "Oh." So I
hmm.
this really has to be addressed. So I always felt like yes, on his side, he was okay with not moving forward or with moving forward with the things that he really needed. But for her, I don't think he knew how big of an issue these things were.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. Well, I don't know. I wish I could give an opinion on that, but since we didn't see much, anything to say?
I know.
Do we want to go to KV and Edmund?
Okay, so they both say no.
Okay.
he's pretty hurt about it. Or, his mom, she was really emotional as well. Which, by the way, I love the scene where when his mom came into his dressing room and was like pouring into him a lot of positive affirmations. I love
Mhm.
that scene between the two of them. But one of his friends
Look at
was
you being
really
all
upset.
sentimental.
One of his friends was really upset. Called her, says she's cold hearted and she's a bee. Um, and yeah, I think from the beginning, Allie knew that she was probably not going to say yes. And I think while he was able to look past not getting the things he wanted, she was not able to look past those things.
Yeah, a part of me feels like, what if he was just like just oblivious because he's that type of person? Like I've read and seen and heard people talk about how sometimes after years of marriage, men are surprised
Hmm.
when their wives file for divorce, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, what? So I think even if she's communicated that it's a problem, maybe because to him it's not a big deal, maybe he just didn't see it as a big deal, or maybe because he was able to get past the red
Hmm.
flags that were so clear and bright and flashing for
Hmm.
her. Maybe he just felt like it's no big deal. She should be able to get over this one small thing. So I don't know
Mm.
that it's all on, oh, she didn't stress enough, because I felt like even that night when he was like, yeah, I've just been keeping it on the low. And she's like, I've been telling people the truth. I felt like just nothing really gave that she wasn't vocal about the drinking.
Mm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the way in which I saw her communicate
Hmm.
on camera, I could see where she wasn't as direct as she could have been.
Okay.
Meaning, you remember how I was saying how, okay, you can say I want to be with someone who has a similar drinking pattern to me. And he was like, tell me more. Tell me, what does that mean to you? Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. And she was just like, "Oh, I shouldn't have to tell you. You should just know." So I don't know. There were a few conversations they had throughout the season where I felt like she would, even in how she communicated, oh, that trash really stinks. I really wish someone would take
Mm.
it out. Girl, just ask this man to take the trash out. Like, or hey, can you take it out? I don't know.
Yeah, I
Her
feel like
communication style,
I don't necessarily, I don't think out of these two one is better than the other in any way. I just feel like
no.
if you're having a conversation with your significant other where you're having to say, okay, then I just won't drink anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly been communicated that this is a big problem. Like,
Mm.
I don't know. But I don't think, like, I don't think it was that, I think he was blinded by whatever he wanted to see, or just didn't
Mm-hmm.
feel like this was a big enough deal, because it wasn't a big enough deal to him.
Yeah. I also think too with the lifestyle thing, I
Hmm.
think what Allie may have been looking for in terms of being taken care of, I don't think that she thought that he would be able to provide that ultimately.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And
and
she
so when
wasn't.
she said at the altar,
Mhm.
the Anton that I got is not what the Anton from the pods, or that she didn't get that same version of him.
Yeah.
I feel like naturally in real life, you're going to see a lot more things than behind a wall. And so I wanted to know, okay, well, what is it? Is it his personality? Is it that more things came up and that those things were an issue? Is it that he flipped the script on you? I wanted to know a little bit like, what do you mean by you got a different person?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her on like Perfect Match or something, which is
Yeah.
not a show that we watch. So I guess we just won't be seeing or hearing from
Which
her
is that he
anymore.
wasn't forthcoming about his lifestyle. That's how she said it. And then she
Yeah.
also mentioned what she learned about him from his friends. So,
Which was the partying, right?
yeah.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. Now should we go to KB and
Yeah,
Emmy?
keep being Edmund, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, this man said, I don't have cold feet. My feet are hot.
And gosh, he was so excited. So excited.
I'm still trying to decide if the Edmund we saw in this show is how Edmund has always been, or if
Mhm.
this is, like a new character unlocked within the last year and a half.
So I think it's somewhere in the middle.
I do
I
too.
think he was putting on, he is on TV. He's being a bit more entertaining for as some people may see it. I'm not saying that I find it funny, but I do think he's elevated the antics. But I do think a lot of it, of what we saw, is him at his core,
Mm-hmm.
of who is and how he presents in the world in general. I think so.
Hmm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I also think some of the things around his behavior of managing his emotions and um yeah, I think a lot of that is true. Even him sweeping certain things under the rug and maybe not wanting to have certain conversations. I think that's all him. I
I
do.
Okay, I'll tell you what made me question certain things,
Mm.
and y'all can let me know in the comments if I'm so far off, but it it felt a little hired actor when the fifth grade teacher came in, and I was like, what exactly is going on here? Like, something about it just felt like if we found out 10 years from now that, like, if Edmund wrote a tell-all book, or realistically made a tell-all TikTok video, right? And he said certain things the producers pushed him to do, or like they orchestrated behind the scenes. I don't know that I would quickly believe it.
So, you're saying you think the teacher was a hired actor?
I think I just could not be. There were certain points where she was on camera with him where I was like, is this real or is this not?
Oh,
Even the
yeah.
thing
So
where
for
it's like,
me,
oh,
I didn't focus as much on her interactions with him. I think in their wedding, I was more so focused on him and KB.
I mean,
So
yes, but they
yeah.
have this whole scene where she's pretty much acting as his mom since his mom isn't there, both before the wedding and after. So for me,
Mm-hmm.
even though the focus is on him and KB and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
it was hard for me to like just overlook that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for me, I didn't put as much into it as far as what his support was. Like, given his family history, according to him, and that it didn't sound like he had any family there other than his dad, which for me, I was like, oh, why didn't the dad come in?
Hmm.
And maybe the dad did have a scene with him and they chose not to
Set
see
it
it. We
up.
just never know. But it sounds as though he had none of his siblings, no in-laws, all his brothers, it sounds like, are married, no cousins, no aunties, nobody. And so for me, once I was like, okay, this woman is here to support him, I'm like, okay. I was just like, whatever.
We could go with that. I think it's just interesting, odd, whatever that
Hmm. What makes it interesting and odd?
so I saw this comment on the internet, someone saying like made a comment about Sandra Bullock and Blindside. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. And so because I'm just a little more critical about Love is Blind this season, or
Mm.
considering last season and this season, I'm just like, what are the odds of them showing this black woman in several scenes berating him, and then at the end, the person who is like his rock is this woman? I just think there's a lot
Mm.
of producing going on. And
Okay.
yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah, I
those
could
are my
definitely.
thoughts. Y'all let me know in the comments if y'all feel like a
Yeah,
little bit of a reach.
I think there's definitely a lot of producing going on. And I think a lot of people may have been incentivized to make it to the altar because let's be honest, none of them we could have zero people at the altar this season, and it would have been like, oh, it just is what it is. Like none of them should have made
It
it.
needed to happen.
Yeah, so I agree. There's a lot of producing. A lot of them shouldn't have even made it to the altar. As far as like, I didn't put much critique on his personal support in whatever that was, because I guess for me, I was like, dang, that would be kind of crazy if they did pull a random person and was like, pretend this is your fifth grade teacher. But now that you say it, I'll give thought to it. But in the moment while watching it, I was just like, okay, he don't have nobody there. This is his person that's there to support him. And because of his history, in terms of his family dynamic, I mean, we did see his mom. Um, Even on KB's side, I don't think we saw her mom until the
The wedding.
last day, until the wedding. So
Mhm.
I was just kind of like, like that's who's there to support him.
Well,
But
that was me with my critical hat off. But taking it off, I mean, that was with my critical hat on, but taking it off,
mhm.
like as long as I said that, I'm cool. Y'all let me know what you think. But I also wonder why his mom didn't come, since she seemed so supportive of this union.
Well, I don't know if his mom lives there. Didn't he say he was from West Virginia originally?
I don't
Yeah, he's
recall.
from West Virginia, and the teacher was like, "I'm so happy you got out of West Virginia," or something. I remember her saying something to that effect. And so I was also thinking, like, does his family live close by? Is he in Denver by himself? Or
Mhm.
I don't know. But or some people just don't want to be on television, and because of the mockery that this show has turned into, that's why I was just kind of like, I didn't think anything good or bad as far as his family not being there, just because some people just don't want to be on Love is Blind, given,
Hmm.
you know. So,
Okay. I did think the scenery was absolutely beautiful. And I don't know, was this the same place where Allie and Anton got married?
mhm.
Because okay, because I just don't remember the scenery looking as beautiful on their wedding day. I don't know if maybe they didn't do wide shots or what it was, but I thought it was like very stunning. Like we got to see the waterfall, we got to see the mountain. Like it was just gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Also KB's mom, she went to talk to him. It sounds like they were familiar with each other
Yeah.
and like they have been talking. KB looks just like her mom. So crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, okay. So can we go to the wedding?
mhm.
Okay. So I noted that Edmund kept his signature pick in the back of his head.
Oh, what we already knew KB was gonna say no, but the scene with her mom in the dressing room where her mom was like, "Oh, girl, you getting married today?" She was just like,
I didn't take note
"Crickets,
of that.
crickets." I was like, "KB is not getting married today."
Yeah, I had mixed feelings about them
Mm,
at the end, but to talk about their vows, I think he said something like, "I love you, I want you, I'm ready to grow more." He said, "Give me some pressure, I got it." Um, which made me a little sad to hear him say that, just
mhm.
because you don't need the pressure that she's been giving, like, to be loved. And so yeah, I was a little sad hearing his vows, even though I know he meant it. I was just like, dang, love don't have to look like that.
I know, and coming off the heels of the way their conversation on the mountaintop went, and then he had gotten her flowers. It's like, dude, I'm not saying she should have gotten him flowers, but it's like this whole dynamic is toxic.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. And then she said, I fell in love with your story, which we know. Like, no, nobody said anything this whole episode that was surprising. Everything was
I,
like, yeah, we could have
I
told you
fell
that.
in love with your story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she said there were things that she wouldn't have learned if it wasn't for him. And I do think that's true. Um, Especially like emotional maturity wise. And I hope
Mm,
that she takes those lessons because I think she needs them.
yeah.
Yeah. When he said I do and she looked sad,
She
like
would,
if I hadn't,
she literally was like, no.
Yeah,
Like,
like Nang now. I will say it takes some huge courage to say no at the altar. If I were on this show, I'm ending it before the altar. Ain't no way.
actually, I want to say her head went down before he said no. Her head went down when the officiant asked him, when she
No,
said Edmund. Well, her head went down twice. I think she was hoping that she went first.
maybe, but I think when he
Mm.
said it, like for me, it wasn't the head going down. It was like almost like I started to see her tear up. Like, dang, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have to break his heart.
Mm-hmm. I sensed it even when the
Yeah.
officiant said Edmund, her head went down like this and was like, no.
Dang,
Hmm.
he goes first.
I think she wanted to go first.
Yeah, to be honest, like we've had critiques of both of these people. Like nobody is above critique. Um, I don't think she wanted to hurt his feelings. Like I don't think KB is just this mean, vicious person at all. Um, which is why she fell for his story. Like I think there is some empathy there. I think there's a lot of growth as well that's needed, but I don't think it was a thing where she just wanted to like, crush this man.
I don't think she wanted to crush him, but I think she wanted to use Love is Blind to get something out of it.
But everybody does.
I think everybody does, but I think the difference is her journey with Edmund. Like for example, Madison, I could say she probably came on here to actually find love and find someone to support her on her life's journey, given her unique situation. I feel confident in saying, like, if she got some notoriety from it, okay. But I don't think that was the main reason she came on here. With
Okay.
KB, I think it was, if I find someone great, if I could have me a Lauren and Cameron love story, great. But I think in the pods, she sensed probably that Edmund wasn't going to be that love story. At least she may have even sensed it within the honeymoon. Hence her immediately going into testing him and all that nonsense. But I think she was incentivized to take it all the way to the end because of what, by her making it to the end, that could probably solidify her relationship within the Love is Not Blind producers and the network and all the things, like her fulfilling her commitment all the way to the end. I
Okay.
think KB already knew that Edmund probably wasn't going to be the right fit for her for all the things we talked about all season. And I think for him, he was a similar situation to Anton where he probably observed some behaviors where, yeah, like this relationship wouldn't work for me. She's probably not my person. But he was willing to overlook a lot of things about her just from wanting to be loved or to find someone. So
Yeah, I think I am gonna have to like disagree a little bit. Just because I think this season there is a pattern with all the women, especially the three women who got to the end. And so I am a little hesitant to like highlight it with KB. Um, I think her situation is different because, you know, she was paired up with someone who is more eccentric and, um his personality was more unique than some of the
mhm.
others. But I think the the interest in the pods, even though I don't think it was right, I think it was genuine.
Mm.
I think
Okay.
hearing about his story and her being a social worker was naturally a thing that just like Jordan and Luca with the diabetes did
Mhm.
the thing for Megan where we were like, what, this is insane. But when you're isolated from everything you know and everyone you know, and you're talking to somebody through a wall, and you're talking
Mhm.
to 14 other people whose story doesn't necessarily click with you as much as this one person, I
Mhm.
think it is fully plausible to think, hey, this is it for me. And then I would also argue, like, even the level of frustration that she showed after the pods, like say on the mountain or say in the wherever, I think the level of frustration that she showed, to me at least, and everybody could disagree with me, but
Mhm.
if you were, okay, either she completely miscalculated this opportunity that it was going to be for her, because I think if you're that strategic to come on a show, you're going to manage your image, and she didn't manage her image well enough for me to say, oh yeah, she came on just to get connected. Like
Well,
it just
I
wouldn't
don't
make
want to say that I think it was just to get connected. I was saying that I think she followed it through. Like, I think she got to a certain point where she realized, like, yeah, this probably isn't going to be the person that I married. But I think her taking it all the way to the altar, even saying, like, oh, I love him and all these things, like, I think it was incentivized, well, I'm here. So I might as well finish all the way through and there be an upside potentially on the end for me. She also said that she has zero patience, right? So I could see a person who operates typically with zero patience, they may not be thinking about what that zero patience may mean in high pressure situations. So that doesn't mean that like, two things can't be true. Yeah, you can be thoughtful and go into something with a plan, but that paired with you lack patience, in the moment, the lack of patience is maybe what takes over. So we both said a lot of their disagreements or things that they were coming to a head about, we were trying to understand why was her reaction so strong. Yes, it could be that she was just so in love and was really fighting for this, or she's just a person that lacks patience and it maybe wouldn't take much to frustrate her.
Yeah,
So,
and I wouldn't go as far as saying, oh, she was so in love, but I think maybe I've seen too many situations where people are like, well, my type isn't working.
mm,
And traditionally with their type, they are fighting and trying to make sure that it works, right? But
mhm.
then they find someone who's the complete opposite, and the one thing that remains is their spirit to fight until things get figured out, you know? So I just
I
I
also feel like I didn't walk away with like some of the things she was saying earlier on, but then she would do is like, I don't know, like, well, what is she looking for? What is her type? Like,
I
she
think
would,
she doesn't know. I think she's
yeah.
confused. I think she thinks like no, and I don't mean that in a mean way, but I think like there's a battle going on where it's like
Mm-hmm.
I might want this, but perhaps I think I'm asking for too much, so now I have to offer this to offset everything that I'm asking for. And I don't think
Hmm.
that's like an unfamiliar struggle or an uncommon struggle. I think there are a lot of people who are hesitant to say what they're looking for in a relationship because they fear that people might think they're asking for too much. And so I saw that struggle in her, whether it was real, fake, whatever. I definitely saw that struggle because she would say, "Oh, well, I'm not like other women. I can hold my own." But what you really want is to not have to hold your own all the time. But
Hmm.
you feel like if I say, okay, if KB, I think KB fears like coming off in the way that Allie did, right? Because for whatever reason, she feels like nobody's gonna give me that. I don't know.
Or that,
I
yeah,
think
as a black woman, it's too much to ask for.
in our
But I
community,
also
like
think that also contributes to her frustration. And I think we said this earlier in the season. If you present in a way of like, "Oh, I got it," or "I can handle it all by
yeah,
myself," but then you're upset when the person doesn't offer help, or
yeah.
yeah.
I just think
So.
she has some maturing to do, and some I think she just needs I don't know what examples she has in her life, but if I were to say I guess, I don't know that she has enough examples of people close to her age who maybe have the thing that she's looking for. Like for whatever reason she might think it's unattainable, whether for her
Mhm.
or for other people. like her. And so I just think it takes growth and time. But I do think a lot of the women, specifically Allie, like I think they came on the show with that same mindset of, oh, if I walk away,
Oh yeah.
I'm great. If I don't, so I think, and we've talked about it throughout the season. We've seen so many more scenes of Calabria than say an Allie, so we know how she reacted when she was frustrated. With Allie, like the most that we saw was her questioning the drinks. Like we didn't get to see a whole lot, and so I'm just aware of that, like of the discrepancy. I'll
And
say.
I also add too, I think because of his story, I think it makes it's not a it's unfortunate for her, meaning if someone, as she said, she was like, your story is what made me fall in love with you, it's part of who you are. And so I think naturally, if someone has maybe a more traumatic story,
Mm.
people may go into every interaction with a lot more empathy. And so I think for her, not saying nothing's happened to her, but I think because she's a social worker, because of his story, his mom comes on there, that interaction went the way that it went. I think unfortunately for her, people were holding her to a bit higher of a standard in navigating through this relationship and ending the relationship with him. And I'm not saying that it's right. I think it's a natural repercussion of just how things were laid out. Um, Even in the dynamic of her taking on a role of more so mothering and telling him what to do and
Yeah.
course correcting him, it's like you've kind of put yourself within the relationship in a position of authority almost.
Hmm.
Even though we know they're equals, I think in the tone in which she was talking to him, some of their interactions and their disagreements, it was as though she was maybe above him.
Hmm.
And so I think in terms of public image, no matter which way this went, like say she had said yes, so a lot of people would have been like, you should have said no to him. You know, like, girl, you should say no. This
Yeah.
is a toxic dynamic. And then on the flip side for her, she said no. And it's like, girl, we knew you should have said no, but maybe you should have said no earlier, whatever. So
Which
it
I
was a
think is
lose-lose
yes.
all around.
Right. But again, there were several people who could have and should have said no earlier because they knew. So I'm just not like, I'm going to offer the balance that it's not just one couple that should have said no. Honestly, all of them should have waited until wedding day.
Oh
Let's be
yeah.
very real. That's the show.
Yeah, I think all of them definitely. I think all of them should have said no, but then we would have no
Yeah. Yeah.
wedding episode. But I think as far as them two, I think Allie, she been knew she was going to say no. I think in each relationship, a person had to break it off. It was Nick, it was Joe, it was Allie, it was her, and yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think a deciding difference, and this is something where because we don't know him, we don't know, like we're jumping in his life in his late 20s, we're presented with certain information where I think it has impacted how people sees how like he should be handled. I don't know. That's my perception. Like even though we know he's smart, he's bright, he's a full grown adult, um, I think it's impacted, yeah, how people feel like it should have been navigated, so to speak, versus like he's getting more empathy, I think, than Anton and Jordan. So
Yeah. I don't, we can move on.
Mhm.
But so they, like she says no, and then how do you feel about how things were handled? So he's clearly in agony. She doesn't rush away from him. She stays there and like, does the whole comforting him, talking to him. They leave together. They talk some more. What are your thoughts about how this played
um
out?
Yeah, I think as far as her comforting him, I think it was fine. It was natural for him to want a moment. She did say something where I was like, "Oh, girl, I think you could have left that out. Maybe that could have not been said or said later." Where she was like, you were a stepping stone. I think maybe I'm hoping she was meant. like she meant it different, and maybe just in being caught up in all the emotions of the moment, where she was like, "Oh, you were a big stepping stone for my growth." I wish it was just worded a little bit different. I think I think just like, I don't know, if you're gonna comfort someone, comfort them. If you see that they're being very emotional, um, I just know that I would maybe just want less in that moment. But that's just me. What about you?
Yeah, I will say I appreciated the moments that she took with him at the altar. Like even the thing that you mentioned, that was like after they had walked out together. So we don't know how long they stood at that altar. It seemed like a minute because like he was crying profusely and then he had calmed down before they walked out together. And so I think for me, that seemed genuine. I don't think she had to stay there at the altar with him, as sensitive as he is. Like we said, he is still an adult male, but she did that. And so, whatever expectations people have of, oh, well, she's expected to do more, which I don't subscribe to, by the way. I don't
People
think
feel
she
like she could
owes
have done
that.
more.
I don't think she owes that. No, like you were saying, like people don't have the same expectations for like him or how he would be handled as they do with like a Jordan and an Anton, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So like those
Yeah.
situations,
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
don't
in
think
that moment, once it's broken off, it's like,
she would have been well within her right to
yeah.
leave and go. She didn't have to, and so I think she did more than this situation called for. Again, probably because she's not a horrible human being. And I've been critical of her this season in moments where I think she deserved to be critical. Like we should have been critical of her. So this isn't like a bias thing. I think there were moments where I was like, girl, absolutely not. Just like there are moments like this where I'm like, I think she gave more than she should have. And that's a genuinely nice thing to do.
Hmm.
So I appreciated the like making sure he was comforted thing. Um yeah, the stepping stone comment, I see what you're saying. I didn't think of that in the moment. But I see what you're
Yeah,
saying.
I don't
I
think
think
she went into it like malicious. I think it's one of those things where, you know, like say you're trying to comfort someone or console them, and
yeah.
you may have your idea of like what you're saying to
Yeah,
like
it was just a
comfort them.
continuation of what she had said earlier, which was
Yeah,
like,
I just think like I think we can all go through relationships and realize like, oh yeah, I'm probably going to grow from this. I'm probably going to learn what I need to know, you know, to get me to the next phase. I think when a person is in the same day of being broken up with, and it would be either direction, I think you could get to the realization of like, oh, this was a stepping stone. I don't know if it makes sense to hear it right then and there.
yeah,
That's crazy.
the thing I wouldn't have said, just because I don't know it, and maybe it is true for her, but when she was like, I wouldn't, I wouldn't count you out, because I think that they should count each other out, but that's just my own opinion. Like I said, she might have felt that way, and that's fine, but I think it's okay to let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah, I just wonder if she was just trying to say certain things to mitigate some of the hurt, but it's like, no, rip the band-aid off and it's going to hurt.
Maybe I actually think it was a way of showing him that like he also offered value, which I hope is what he takes from it. Because he was so, oh, I love you and you put the pressure on me, I got it. Like so much so that maybe he was feeding into the imbalance of the dynamic a little
Oh yeah,
bit.
he was.
And so I think her saying what she said, what I hope that he will take away from it is that no, you showed her how things should be handled. Like I said it last week and I'll say it again, but I think like his emotional maturity in certain situations should be studied. Like her being on that mountain and talking to him the way that she was, and him maintaining his composure. When his mom visited, the way that he maintained his composure. When they were having other conversations in their apartment, the way that he maintained his composure. Like, yeah, there's so much more to him than the caricature that was presented, and I think she should take notes from it. And she should
Mm.
learn from him, and he did offer a master class on certain things. So
Yeah.
ooh, that was a lot.
Um,
I did not expect us to talk about that. This is a 1 hour episode. Um,
um,
do you have anything else on
oh
the?
yeah, he was saying that he expected her to say "I do" at the
Mhm.
altar. So I do wonder what conversations gave him. I'm like, y'all had such a tumultuous, I'm sure they had good times. So I was just like, what conversations were y'all having to where even how he was like, well, I got hot feet and I'm all in. And it's just
Not
a
the
matter
hot.
of, yeah, it's just a matter of checking a box. So I'd be curious to see at the reunion, like, okay, what conversations were y'all having for you to feel
Yeah.
that confident? But then he also said something about, like this was my best shot. Dating
Yes.
out here is rough. So I think, and maybe I'm projecting onto him. I think for him, Calabria was such a come up, and like he he really saw her as a prize, even with all of her faults. Um, and so I think for him, at least the way it sounded was like, well, if I don't have her, then like this is as good as it was going to get for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, okay, he maybe that was his sense of confidence in going into this wedding, because I think we were all like, it's a no.
Mm-hmm.
How does he not see that it's a no?
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we may never know.
The world may never know, but I do think it's a confidence thing. Yeah, there's a certain like swag to her and appeal to her for sure that I could see, but yeah, it just isn't a good match. So, but wishing both of them well, and
Mhm.
I am very interested to hear more during the reunion. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
Jordan and
Megan
Megan.
and yeah, Jordan and Megan didn't even make it to the altar. Thank you. You didn't have that little boy show up, be a part of the wedding. All for y'all to say
He
no.
wasn't gonna be part of the wedding.
I know, but even still, even to know that there was a wedding,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
So they were talking about lifestyle, and she was saying how day to day hers is just so different from his. And, he was encouraging her to still continue to do the things that she wanted to do. But she's like, yeah, but I've been doing those things and I want to do them with somebody now. And your lifestyle doesn't allow for that. So,
mhm. I don't know. I feel like her, and I think she should want what she wants, but I think she is in such a unique position.
mm,
I feel like she came into this process really looking, it's already a crazy process, but like for a unicorn of a situation.
yeah,
Whereas, like, girl, realistically, are you going to be able to find that on Love is Blind?
normal
Even
folk
for
can't even
Allie,
find. Yeah.
like, it's one thing to find someone who can take care of you, within certain means, but like you're on a show with working class people.
Mhm.
So are you really going to be able to find the person who can afford a personal chef and this and that? Like, it's doable, but Love is Blind is probably not the pool of people that you should
You
be
look.
looking within.
Mhm.
Like, this is maybe they need another show, like the wealthy dating show. I don't know.
The Bachelor. Well, The Bachelor, even The Bachelor,
Mhm.
like it started out with people who were wealthy,
Yeah.
but now it's just, it's,
Working class people. She herself is working class, which I'm not saying she shouldn't want what should want, but depending on the producers of Love is Blind to be able to pull together wealthy enough people or flexible enough lifestyle of people,
yeah.
I just don't even think that that's realistic.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Uh, and of course, he asks, okay, so why did you choose me in the pods? Which I'm with you, Jordan, because I've been asking since the pods. I'm like, what, girl, him? It just
well,
never
it was the
made sense.
juxtaposition. Remember, we kept saying that Mike, was it his name, was too giving too much of the energy of the guys with money that she was used to. Because guys have money, but they also probably work a lot too, and
Yeah,
they may can fly to Italy, but maybe it's only for a few days because they have to get back to work.
exactly.
And so I think for her, Jordan was like the complete swing to the other side.
Yeah, remember I
Um,
thought Blake might have been her best option in the pods because he seemed like a middle, but it didn't work
I
out.
I also feel like ultimately both of them would have needed to be more flexible for this to
For
work. And I
sure.
think for her, she just came to the realization of I have my life set up the way that I want, and I want to meet someone who can fit within that.
Yeah. And like when she was talking at the end about how it makes her question whether she should even be a mom. Like, oh, I'm not cut out to be a stepmom right now, and now I'm questioning whether I should even be a mom. Like to that, I'm just like, girl, it's just not for right now. Like your life
Yeah.
might not look like what it needs to look like to be a stepmom, but when that time comes and it's your time, you'll be ready. And if that time doesn't come, hey, there's nothing wrong with not having kids. Like it's okay.
I think she was probably feeling bad for saying maybe I just don't want to be a stepmom. But girl, get in line behind all the men and women who don't want to deal with mixed integrated families, stepkids, and all. Like, don't feel bad about that. In fact, it's good that you came to this realization now versus helping raise this boy for 5 years, and then he's 10 years old, and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, and
So
as much as I understand Jordan saying, okay, then why choose me in the pods? I think even with regular relationships that are not on a reality show, like, people get married and realize like the things that you said about you are deeper than you said. So yeah, you said you're an extrovert when we're dating, and I was able to see that you're an extrovert. But now that I'm in this house with you every day and we're like building a life together, it's like your extroversion is times 10, like so
so also I just don't think that Jordan wanted to move much on meeting her in the middle and really date her. I think
Mm,
Jordan has this perception of Megan has her life all together. She has all the means.
mhm.
Okay, we're here now. We did the pods. I was also getting from her like date me, court me, live life with me. You can't just put me on the back burner because you have these other responsibilities. I don't know. And I
Yeah.
understand he has a child, but he also splits the time. And so I don't know. I just got the sense of he didn't really want to date her. And I think that, so it was like, I'm going to have to be a stepmom, adjust my lifestyle a little bit. You also don't want to talk hardly. And you don't, because she even mentioned, like, well, take me out on dates, like, do something. From his perspective, it sounded as though you knew all this about me. Here I am. You chose me, and so get in line with what myself and Luca have going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and this is on Jordan, not Megan, but I think if what he's saying is true, then Jordan just didn't have the capacity for this. And if you don't have the capacity, you don't have the capacity, right? Like, but don't, like the same way you're saying, why did you choose me in the pods? Consider that for yourself.
Oh yeah, because you're the one that did you proposed
Yeah, yeah.
to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, but again, I think both of them either overestimated things or underestimated things. So,
Yeah.
if she's saying, "Oh, I want to do XYZ," maybe she overestimated how much free time he would have. And maybe like he underestimated how much she's trying to be out as she should. Like, so, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I think the disparity in the income and lifestyle and money may have bothered him more than what he wanted to
For
put
sure.
forward. Just
Naturally,
in
because he
little
wants to be where
comments.
she is. Like
Yeah.
I think he's been honest with that. Like, I wish I could be in your position. I'm just not.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, I think he admitted it and he's okay with where he is, but it's like, I don't have much to give, girl. I don't have any room.
It's more of a problem than if he was dating someone who was more in line with his lifestyle. Like if he got with someone who also was working class and who also
Mhm.
maybe had a child around the same age and
Mhm.
they had similar schedules, like it'd be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
you get it. I don't have to
Even
explain to you
yeah.
all
Even
of
if
this.
they made more money than him, because I don't I think it is more lifestyle than it is like money, but
Hmm.
if they made their money in the same ways that he makes his, then I think like
Yes. Oh
working
yeah, because
at each
the
other.
value of her going to be able to, what she say, play tennis or whatever in the middle of the day on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday.
Even people with a lot of money and resources, they have to tend to it. So
Yeah.
even they maybe don't have that level of flexibility. So, uh, yeah.
Okay.
We should they should have listened to us early in the season. We would have told them it wasn't going.
Look, hire us as consultants for the show.
Seriously. But that's all I
Okay,
have.
well, we have said a lot. Do you have anything additional to add?
We
Oh,
are done.
he said he
Oh,
regretted her meeting Luca, which, yeah, I get it.
yeah. I see, and this is why people go back to maybe people with kids should not be in this type of dating show. Not that you shouldn't date,
Yeah,
but there was never going to be a good time to do it or not do it. And
yeah,
I will say, the same way he could feel like, oh, I should have not let her meet my child. It's kind of like, yeah, Megan, he was trying to tell you like this is going to be a big change for you.
yeah.
But it was something where I think she felt like I just had to experience it. But when it comes with kids,
Once you experience, yeah, people can create whatever ideas in their heads about what your life looks like, but it's that experience that really, that'll get you.
right. And even with her being in it, because it's not her child, that's still a different experience.
Hmm,
Like,
hmm.
so there was only so much learning she was going to be able to do on the fly. Huh? But yeah.
Okay, so now we're done for real. We have talked, and this got a lot deeper than I even like when we sat down to record this. I'm like, oh, this about to be like 30 minutes. I'm about to
Mm,
get this out the way.
never.
But thank you guys for watching Love is Blind. Oh wait, we got the reunion still. So,
Oh yeah.
but still, thank you for watching me and my best friend talk through
Hmm.
the wedding episodes. We'll be back next week with Married at First Sight. Um,
Hmm.
Episodes 1 through 4 with that review. So if you don't watch the show, start watching it with us so
I
that you can know
know.
what we're talking about. It's on Peacock this year and it's only going to last for a month. So
Hmm.
yeah, join us for the ride. And then we'll also be back with the reunion, which comes out on the 29th. So sometime after that, we'll record it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
until next time, bye.
Bye.